So Jenny Ayton. Okay Jenny, what I want you to do now is pick out one performer and identify all the strengths and weaknesses of the performer, prioritise the major weakness and create a viable action plan to improve the weakness. Use your scientific, social, cultural and psychological knowledge to evaluate performance. Good luck.
Okay, so I was following, actually I can't see a number, this player here. A strength of hers was on the draw, she had quite good positioning, so she was moving herself to where the draw was going, which was good because it meant that her team could go and could get the ball off the draw, which is needed to attack. It was good because her and her player had, like, her and the other wing defence had a good system where the other player would go in for the ball and she would stay back, waiting in case it went over her head or the front player missed the ball, which was good. As you can see, the performers participating in sport, in lacrosse, which is a sport, like features of sport is it's played by people with physical prowess and physical endeavour at a designated time and designated facilities. In this case, a specially designed AstroTurf, which has lacrosse markings. By participating in lacrosse, it's part of a balanced, healthy and active lifestyle. Other elements of this includes like being free from stress, having a good diet, lots of rest, having social activities, good relationships with people. Also, as you can see, that her stick is specially designed. It's got a carbon fibre shaft which is quite light, and it means it's easier to control, and the stick head is specially designed so it's thin at the bottom and wide at the top, and this allows for cradling to be easier controlled, and like picking up ground balls and passing and catching and things like that. It's a lot easier, particularly compared to what they used to have to use, which are wooden sticks, which are lacked any, well, it was very struck the ball from that, and due to technology advancements, performance has improved. Another strength of hers includes ground balls. So she, whenever she's near a ground ball, she has a stick up at the top of the stick. She bends quite low down. Her foot's next to the ball that she's picking up, and she goes straight through. And once she's picked up, she changes her speed, or she changes direction, or her hand, which is good because it means that the defender that's behind her has to react to that, and she's more likely to get away from them. So that means that, like, particularly in the transition when there's a loose ball, it means that they can get ahead and go to goal. Her passing is quite strong. She's got a good movement where her elbow's up high, which is elbows high. She's got it away from her body, and she's got like a good stick movement, and she follows through with it, so it makes it direct and goes straight towards it. Also, she disguises her pass, which is good, so you can't tell whether she's going to go right or left, or whether she's going to drive, which is good because according to Hick's law, we should try and disguise our intentions in order to increase our opponent's reaction time. This is because it increases the amount of decisions that they've got. It increases the amount of decisions they've got to make and what they've got to react to. So it increases their reaction time, meaning they're slower, and it benefits you. So, for example, if say they're playing high pressure, saying they're playing medium pressure defence, it means that the defendant's marking the next pass along doesn't know whether she has to slide, so it means that there's less likely the ball's going to be intercepted between the pass, which is good. Also, she's good with her midfield transition, so she's always there for like backing up her player, because she's got quite good speed in her midfield transition, but it's only really on the attacking when she's going into attack. So she's got the drive to go back, and it's good because she's always there to support the play with the ball, so she's often behind them giving the trail pass, which then she's available to change the field of play, so because there's 3 channels, so she's able to receive the ball from behind and change the channel that the ball's being played in, which is good. Also, on her catching, she's always keeping her feet moving, which is necessary because otherwise it means that she can go to meet the ball, she can move back so she doesn't drop it, and it means there aren't any unforced errors or turnovers. However, weaknesses of hers include her tactically her defence isn't so good. She doesn't seem very aware. So like first of all, she doesn't get goal side when she's transitioning. So she should be between her player and the goal to prevent her when she her player catches the ball, turns. So she's always there in front of her so she can stop her and get her body in the way. But she doesn't do this, meaning that her player can cut around her. This is probably because she's not paying attention to the ball, the middle, and her girl, which is quite key. So she needs to be able to follow the ball, look into the middle of the defending the fan, and watch the girl that she's marking. And in this, she's very much watching her girl. She's not watching the ball, so she isn't able to turn her head. She's not turning her head. She's not got her good body position. So she should be trying to have her stick facing her girl, and often you point to the ball so you know where it is. And with this, it means that her player's cutting past her and receiving the ball and shooting, which obviously isn't good. This might be because her attentional field might be too narrow, because she might have her arousal might be too high, so she can't, like, so that means her attentional field narrows and she can't attend to the relevant cues in the environment, so she's missing important things. Or conversely to this, her attentional field could be too wide because she's got low arousal, meaning she's attending to unnecessary things such as watching a ball and or looking at the crowd, or trying to listen to a coach, or seeing what the person next to her is doing. When she's on the draw / trying to get to defence, her speed can be quite bad. She's not kind of pushing herself to get to the ball. This might be because she might be tired, but she also she might have her percentage of fast glycolytic fibres in her muscles might be quite low, meaning that she doesn't have a lot of a structural feature of glycolytic fibres include having small and few mitochondria, but it does produce greater force and greater strength, but it does fatigue quite quickly, and because of this she's not got the power to chase a defender, which means that either in defence the play's free, or she can't get in front of her player when she's cutting, meaning that she's not free and the other person's getting the ball. Also in attack, her attacking movement doesn't seem particularly good. She'll pass the ball, she'll stay, she's not moving away, which is what you want to do. Once you've passed the ball off, you want to cut through, cut away, basically take your defender away from the ball, because this will create space for the person who just passed you to drive. And she's kind of passing the ball, waiting, not being very active in her movement, so she's not really aware of what she should be doing in attack. And this might be because she's quite tired due to a poor aerobic capacity, because she seems to be using the attacking section as a place to recover from her from running up and down the field. While she's playing lacrosse, she'll be using her aerobic system predominantly. So this means she'll be using her aerobic system, which consists of 3 stages, including the electron transport chain, which occurs in the crystalline of the mitochondria, the Krebs cycle, which occurs in the matrix of the mitochondria, and glycolysis, which occurs in the sarcoplasm. Overall, this produces 38 ATP for her to use per glucose molecule. But I think her aerobic capacity isn't particularly efficient in this one, so she can't take in transport and use oxygen particularly well. Also, she's very much a right-handed player, so she doesn't switch to her left hand very often, which when she was driving she could have done, because if she switched to her left hand she would have been able to dodge her player and get around her, but because she only plays on her right hand, it means that her defender knows what she's doing, she can push her away so she can't kind of get around her. This is an example of bilateral transfer not being used. So bilateral transfer is when a player who's predominantly right-handed can perform the skill on the opposite side. So unfortunately for her, this isn't done, which in lacrosse is quite useful because it means that you're very adaptable, I guess. You can drive from either side of the fan, or you can pass on the outside, which is needed in case a player intercepts the ball. So you want to always have your stick on the outside of the either fan or the transition. So she needs to be able to change. And also, I think I've identified her main weakness as not being able to handle the pressure and handle pressure, the ball under pressure, meaning that when she's got a defender on her, she often panics and drops the ball. This is very important in lacrosse because you're often under pressure in transition, in attack, and she needs to be able to handle the ball and retain it. Otherwise, it causes an unforced error and probably a turnover. So what she's doing is kind of panicking when the player comes towards her, and she drops the ball as she's cradling. So she needs to be able to control it a bit better instead of just dropping it. And she often checks herself because she cradles into the person's stick, and she doesn't keep her feet moving, so she'll run into her and she won't run away. So that's my control and pressure is my main thing. The aim of my plan is to be able to retain the ball when under pressure all the time. So I'll give her the coaching points of this, which will include keeping her feet moving at all times, because if you stop the defender, it's very easy for them to put pressure on you. It's easy for another defender to come and double you. She wants to keep her stick away from the defender, so have her shoulder between the defender and the ball. So she wants to bring it back, keep her stick moving, keep cradling, because if you stop, it makes it very easy to check. And also when she's trying to pass the ball off, she needs to be able to move her stick around the defender, because it's important you don't just pass it through her stick, because they'll quite easily intercept it because they know where the ball's coming from. When I'm giving these coaching points, I'll use visual guidance to show the player what needs to be done. So in the form of a demonstration, which is good for people in the associative phase of learning and the cognitive phase of learning. By doing this, I can draw attention to the key points, such as keeping the stick moving, keeping feet moving, and it helps her to form a mental picture in her head. So then the timescale of my programme will be 2 times a week for 6 weeks, each session being 30 minutes long. Towards the end of the session, towards the end of the programme, I'll apply the principle of overload, which is when your body's working harder than its normal capacity, meaning it's adapting to training. And I'll do this by altering the FIT principle, which is the frequency, intensity, time and type. So I'll use FIT, so I'll increase the frequency to 3 times a week, and I'll increase time to 45 minutes per session. In my progressive practices, before each session, I'll make sure she's warming up, so going for a jog and then doing some dynamic stretches. This increases core body temperature, it increases flexibility of the muscles, it means hemoglobin in the blood releases oxygen more readily, it decreases viscosity, so muscles are a bit looser, and this means that there's less risk of injury from tears, because core muscles can tear more easily, and the efficiency of movements will be better. So the first progressive practice I'll do will be wall ball, which is just in order to get her comfortable with her stick and her movements. So we'll be doing, she'll be about about a metre away from the ball, and she'll do different stick skills, such as passing on the right hand side, passing on the left, catching and switching, catching reverse side, throwing reverse side, and then using the different areas to pass from, so from head to the left to lower and to the low right. This will hopefully get her her control, her stick skills and control more habitual, because overlearning it will make it will enforce the motor program, so it will make it more habitual to her, and it means that when she's under pressure, once she's got it not under pressure, hopefully she'll be able to be more comfortable when she is under pressure, because she knows that she can do it when she's not under pressure. And then, so we'll progress this on to having a defender with her. So she'll have to, we'll do a drill where she has to plant her foot on the ground, and there'll be a defender on her, and the defender's trying to get the ball away from her stick, and she's got to keep her stick away from the defender and kind of try and keep her in control. So she's got to try and keep her body away, keep moving, like kind of leave the stick out and then keep turning it away from her the defender. So they go for the check and she can keep that control, so she can keep the cradle like around her face, and that'll get her used to having pressure on her. And then we'll step it up to the box drill, which is in which there'll be other co-actors will come in, and they'll be in a box. There'll be four attackers, including her, one in each corner, and then there'll be 3 defenders in the middle. And the defenders are trying to get the ball away from them, and she's got to try and, they'll be putting pressure on her when she has the ball, so she's got to keep her stick moving and pass around the defender. And make the right decision to which person she's got to pass to, which is, it makes it more relevant to the game because that's what you've got to do, and like she's got to be able to make the right choice. And then so she's got to try and pass around the defender and move the levels between like around the defender so she can pass it to them effectively. And we'll do that for a round. We'll repeat that a few times, and she can switch positions, and then we can increase the amount of people in the drill as well. When she does show the correct skill, we'll give her positive reinforcement, which will strengthen the SR bond, so I'll do this in the form of appraisals such as well done. So hopefully by doing this, the SR bond will become, the dominant response will be produced each time, because this will be the correct one as well. And then the next drill we'll do will be drive to goal, which is 1v1. So she'll pick up the ball, and she'll be going to goal. There'll be a defender and then a defender will come out from the side and put pressure on her. And she's got to try and keep control of the ball, keep her feet moving to get around the defender and try and score. And then once it's done, we'll move it up to a 7v7, which is just like in a game. So there'll be everyone else will be there. She'll have the ball. It'll just be like a settled attack in which she's got to keep her feet, like she'll pass the ball. The defence will be playing medium bucket, meaning they'll be putting pressure on, and the adjacents will be sliding to put pressure on the outside passes. And so she's got to try and drive. She's got to keep her feet moving. This will also help her other weaknesses such as her attacking movement. By introducing other people into the game, this hopefully will improve performance in the form of social facilitation, because she'll so by having other people there, this will, according to Zedronk, this will increase her arousal levels, meaning and if you follow the drive theory of arousal, this increase in arousal will increase the likelihood of the dominant response being shown, and by this stage of the plan, hopefully her dominant response will be the correct one, in which she keeps control and she retains the ball under pressure. And so hopefully by this increased arousal with the other defenders there, this will increase the dominant response and performance will be increased and socially facilitated.
Brilliant, well done.
Okay.